Hi, I'm Mash Bonigala, brand strategist. Today we're going to be talking about thinking. First of all, are you really thinking? And if you're not, then how to think? All right, so you may be sort of smiling to yourself. If I ask you the question, do you really think? Are you really thinking? I'll tell you a little kind of a scenario, okay? And a little bit about myself. Um, in the past, before I had this epiphany, before I started training myself to think properly, a typical kind of a day would start with me getting up in the morning and, of course, instantly reaching out to my phone, checking to see if there are any emergency messages as first point of call. And then, getting up, going about doing the usual routines that you would do, getting ready, getting to the gym, and so on. But during this process, when I get ready to go to the gym, pop my headphones on, and then either a podcast or YouTube. I run YouTube videos in the background. I have premium account, and even if you switch off the phone, you can still hear the audio, and so on. So I get in my car, I drive to the gym, and then I go through the process. I'm still listening to something. Then I come back, get dressed, shower and all that, get dressed and get to work. On the way to work, I'm listening to something. I get to work, and the first thing is, of course, I open up, I check emails. My email window is open, and then I start going through work. If it's a strategy, then I'm thinking about the strategy. I'm checking my emails. Later on in the day, I'm probably on LinkedIn. I'm checking Twitter. I get back home from work, spend some time with the family, have dinner, and then again, I'm checking some social media, uh, work related, of course. Okay. Now, this is all well and good, and we need to do that, right? So we need to have our finger on the pulse. Social media, of course, if you're just consuming media, if you're consuming stuff just for entertainment, okay, you're probably not an entrepreneur. No, I'm kidding. It's okay. You do what you got to do, but um, as an entrepreneur, you will have to be, looking around, learning, and so on and so forth. So I don't blame that process. But what then happens is during that day, my when I need to think, because to solve problems, and these could be client problems, strategy. That's what I do. Or in your case, it could be your own business problems, your marketing problems, and so on and so forth. All these, to solve them, you need to think. These days, the 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 kind of popular trend is when you need to solve a problem, you jump onto the internet, you type out a question, and you start reading maybe solutions, maybe advice, maybe tips, and so on. Or you get on YouTube, just like this one, and you're watching a video of some guy or gal, talking about and telling you how to solve that problem. That's good. But what is happening there is you're not thinking. Somebody else has thought for you and is trying to give you that information. And you're consuming that information, and then you need to execute or implement that information. There's a disconnect between that because it is not your thoughts. You didn't do the thinking. And typically, when I need to think, what am I doing? I'm thinking in between these multitaskings. I may start thinking about something, and then ping, the email goes, and I'm distracted. I open that email, and then I may actually ignore that email, or I may go down a rabbit hole there. It could be a client, it could be a partner, it could be a friend, it could be something that demands my attention, something that I need to do. Now, when I started analyzing all this and I started, uh, you know, trying to learn to think, I realized that most of the emails that I see on a daily basis are not urgent. Even client emails, they're not urgent. So the first thing I did was actually set a time for emails, right? Okay. And then, and it worked. Nothing happened. Don't, it was not the end of the world. So typically, what you would be doing is thinking between multitasking. Maybe you have some music going on in the background. Maybe you're an effective thinker when you have music. That's, kudos to you. But most people, no, because your brain is switching. And every time you switch, you're losing energy. You're losing that track. Deep thinking is what helps you solve problems. You need to think, not just read, not just consume, not go to the internet to find solutions. You can do that, but first you need to think. There is a technique called the blank sheet technique, and I'm paraphrasing this. I read about it somewhere. So, if whenever you have a problem, you start with a blank sheet. You take a blank sheet of paper, or on your computer, whatever, and then write down what you think may be the solution straight off the bat, without actually going through the thinking process. Just write it down. Then go and check online to see if there is a solution for that. And then stop everything and put your phone on airplane mode, close the door and do some deep thinking. Now, second step, you could actually skip. I used to do that, but now I skip that step. I go straight into thinking. Okay, I'm all over the place with this because it is a kind of a all over the place topic. Um, there is no right or wrong with this, but what I'm trying to do, or what I'm trying to tell you, is to say, don't multitask when you have to think, when you have to solve problems. Um, if it is a physical work, if your job is to, I don't know, you're creating a product with your hands and you're doing it, then that's fine. You have your music on. Even then, you need to focus on it. You need to concentrate. Okay. There's a series of articles on FS, Farnham Street, a beautiful, beautiful blog. And this guy, Parrish, I love his writing. So he talks about how concentration is one of the most important things you need to succeed in life, in business. If you think your business is not doing well, you're not getting sales and so on and so forth, right? And you believe you've been putting a lot of effort into trying to fix that. Maybe the problem is that you've not really thought through why your business is failing and what needs to be done. Maybe you've not set aside an hour or 2 hours of uninterrupted thinking, right? Pure thinking. Just sitting there, your phone is in another room, you got a blank sheet of paper, just a notebook, and you're doodling, you're sketching, you're writing down ideas, you're thinking through. Maybe that is what is the problem. In fact, I believe very strongly that is the problem. And I am going to go on a limb here and say that that is your problem. Not just in business, in relationships, in just life in general. If you're having problems and they're endless and there's no end in sight and you're feeling chaotic, you're confused, you are up against the wall, probably that's because you're not giving yourself the time to think. You're distracted. You are constantly on social media. You're constantly watching Netflix or YouTube, and you're addicted to it because social media and content consumption is an addiction. I have that addiction. You have that addiction. Everyone has that addiction. Now, I'm not advocating the old kind of, boring concepts or ideology of, gadgets are bad, internet is bad. No, none of that. We need our gadgets. We need the internet. No, what I'm advocating is to make sure that you think with uninterrupted focus and concentration every single day. Okay? Do this today, just for a couple of hours. Switch off your phone, switch off your internet, everything. Just let's see if you can sit with your own thoughts, and you will realize it is harder than you think. It's probably the hardest thing. It's harder than doing business. It's harder than making a sale. It is very hard. If you can sit by yourself for 1 hour without and not even looking out of the window, right? Just by yourself, maybe in your bedroom, on your bed, or if you're in your office. Well, it's difficult, but yeah, do this at home. If you can get through that hour, you will realize how difficult it is. And you also have big breakthroughs. That hour of uninterrupted, focused thinking will give you breakthroughs. Now, it doesn't happen straight off the bat. If you just do it now and the first hour, you didn't get any breakthroughs and you're like, mash, this is, this doesn't work. Well, I'm here to tell you that it doesn't happen right off the bat. You need to you need to train yourself, because imagine all these years of you being your mind being chaotic, dispersed all over the place, as they call in Zen and meditation, the monkey brain, right? It's this and that, something shiny, something new. Your brain is used to that. It needs that constant dopamine hit, the high of something new, the ping of your phone. You're scrolling Instagram, you're scrolling Twitter, you're watching videos, and these days shorts. So you're not even spending 10, 15, 20 minutes. In fact, getting through, we are at the 11-minute mark, and you made it through this far. And I'm talking about one single thing. So kudos to you on that. But all these things have trained your brain. Now, to get away from that, it's almost like going sober, stopping alcohol or smoking or anything of that nature. So start thinking. Now, what does it mean? Thinking is really letting your thoughts flow. It's not really looking for a solution. Don't put a lot of effort into thinking. Let it flow naturally. Let thoughts come. Maybe you're daydreaming. Maybe you tend to then drift off and think about something else. That's okay. Don't stop that. Don't fight that. Because actually, your brain, your subconscious is thinking. People think that thinking is the conscious part. Actually, the conscious part of thinking is very small portion of our brain process, right? The conscious thinking. In fact, when you think you're thinking consciously, you're actually only retrieving information. You're trying to access and you're trying to remember. You're trying to connect dots. But actually, the bulk of it is done by the subconscious. So when you sit down to think, maybe your business is in the dumps, sales or have dried up. You got bills to pay at the end of the month. What do I do? You're panicked. Instead of going to yet another article or something or video that tells you how to make money, or just stop all that noise and just be with your own thoughts. Spend a half a day. Go for a walk. Yes, I mean it. And not with your ear pods in and your no. Yes, of course, take your phone with you for emergencies, but turn off the phone, right? Don't listen to anything. Don't watch anything. Just walk. It's going to be boring as hell. But your brain will slowly, start to exercise that muscle of thinking. And I guarantee you, you will start seeing great things happen in your life. I promise you, you will start seeing great things happen in your life. And you can't even quantify it. And things will start happening and you wouldn't even know why, because your thinking will enable your decision making. And at the end of the day, your life is how it is right now because of the decisions you made in the past. Every single decision determines that you make now as you go along, determines your life, how your life is. And decisions need thinking. They need the subconscious to help make the right kind of decisions. All right. Okay. I'm sure you're sort of bored now, but I needed to repeat this because it's a very important thing. It's a very important skill to learn, or rather unlearn. So, all right. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do so right now. I am going to expand the kind of videos that I make as this one, not just about branding. I'm going to explore other things, but ultimately it will help your brand. It'll help your business. And if you have any questions about this topic, just let me know. Leave a comment below, or hit me up on Twitter or follow me on LinkedIn and post a message there or just message me directly. All right. Till my next video, take care and prosper. And in this case, start thinking and continue thinking.